But just jumping into some injury news first, I already mentioned this, but Anton, a slight muscle fiber tear, out for Gladbach this weekend, out against Barcelona midweek.
Looks like he's out for the remainder of the calendar year from what I read.
I think I
Knowing
saw,
Dortmund, it's probably going to be at least 2 months.
yeah, I think they said hopefully might be out for this calendar year. Hopefully back, we'll see him back before then, but our medical staff and how we deal with injuries and whatever, like I wouldn't be surprised if this is kind of why he got injured again. Like, did they rush him back into things? Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, you kind of have to, right? Because again,
yeah, we had no other center backs on the bench besides this, but yeah, all right, I don't know. We have issues, obviously. He's probably out for the calendar year. Brandt could be back in the squad versus Gladbach this weekend. Adeyemi still out, obviously. But with JBG flying, we didn't talk much about the Bayern match, seeing Malen or starting on the bench with Bayer. Maybe that was because they wanted to bring Malen and his energy and pace later on. What are your thoughts on Bayer playing on the wing, I guess, is what I want to ask.
I'd take him over Malen at the moment. I know it's been tough for Malen to get in certain games, definitely against the Zagreb game, but it's funny because it's almost flipped. I thought Bayer was not really anywhere near to being at the level to start for this team, and then this past 2.5, maybe 3 weeks, he's completely flipped that on its head, and I think he's deserved that spot. I mean, there's been a handful of times, even against the Munich match, and it's little things, but I'm expecting Malen to, like, right when he comes on, to provide these sprints on both sides of the ball, to press, to drop deeper at times, to receive the ball and then quickly turn and then make a run out wide where you have space. And I just didn't see that. And like, I'm almost expecting it to see that because I'm seeing Bayer do that so often. And of course, Malen never really had that work rate, at least, on a consistent level. It's just kind of bursts. And even then it's with the ball. But when I'm looking at a team that's like fully fit for Dortmund, I'm looking to have Adeyemi on the left and then maybe Bayer on the right now, just strictly for their work rates, for their defensive efforts, for their physicality, and just their ability to go full 90 at 100%.
You might not see Malen for much longer. Apparently, per Patrick Berger, which I would say is a pretty reputable source. Berger? Oh, I apologize. We cannot pronounce anything.
I can't see,
stupid Americans.
So I could be totally wrong too.
Anyways, been reported that Malen has the green light to go this winter. He could be out the door. There were talks about not doing any business in January, mainly from a financial point of view. But if Malen were to go, that might open up some finances. I don't know if we were to go with the reported transfer fee 25 to 30 million, maybe. I don't remember what it was exactly, but he does have the green light to go if there's an offer. Looks like he might be out this January. There are also reports, they weren't linked necessarily, but I'm going to tie them together because this is, I guess my question has always been, if Malen goes, I feel like we need someone coming in, because you can say you want Duranville to get more minutes, or you don't want anyone blocking Gittens or Duranville, but it's still, we just need rotation, right? Because I also put Bayer as like our backup striker too. I know he's been playing on the right wing. I know he's not necessarily an out and out striker, but we have seen him in that 9 position. And I just don't want, if Malen goes, I don't want the answer to be, well, yeah, Bayer can play out there and then he can play up top, and then Duranville's not actually going to get that many minutes. But the other link was a possible loan for Nkunku from former RB Leipzig, obviously now at Chelsea. It looks like there's kind of some talks or interest about maybe bringing him in on loan. You have any thoughts on him coming in? Possibly. This one I don't put a ton of stock in.
Yeah, but he plays. I don't know. I rate the man, of course, obviously, but he plays in such similar roles to what we already have. I mean, Gittens is pretty much exclusively on the left. I have not seen Duranville play much of anything on the right so far. I could be wrong. And then, of course, at the 10, you have options like Brandt and Reyna, too. I mean, you could say that we could need help just because of, Duranville and Reyna are pretty much never fit. Adeyemi is pretty much never fit. I didn't mention him either, but he's also on the left. So maybe if there's a slightly different role for Nkunku, he's going to play on the right, because we've talked about this last week. I mean, Kuto can play there as well. I think investment still needs to be either in a central midfielder or in the back line, whether it's another center half or another left back. Those are my 3 priorities, in my opinion, for Dortmund at the moment.
Well, my other transfer news stories have nothing to do with fullbacks or center backs. So I apologize, Carver. But we haven't actually talked about the Jobe Bellingham possibly, or the interest, him possibly coming in. It looks maybe more, probably not winter, but maybe a summer move. I think the reported fee was, or their asking price, 20 million. He's 19 years old. He's been playing pretty consistently, has a goal and a couple assists so far this year. He's a starter for Sunderland, kind of more of a attacking mid, but your thoughts on possibly bringing Jobe in?
Same thing. I mean, I haven't seen him play much at all, so I don't want to talk too much out of my ass. I've seen on paper it looks like he plays at a number 8 at times, but it looks like he's primarily a number 10, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
I think
so
so.
probably the same problem, really.
My thought with this, seeing some people just comment like, "Oh, we don't need another midfielder." I mean, I'd argue if this isn't maybe a summer move, I mean, we haven't seen much from Reina, right? It kind of seems like unless Reina can really start to build in these next couple months, he's kind of a man out the door, like a man that the club is kind of done with. So
Yeah.
that's your replacement right there. If Jobe can come in and really push for that position, obviously looking at the summer too, Brandt's going to be another year older. I think it is time to start looking and
Mm-hmm.
adding, as we've said everywhere. But I'm not trying to not sign anyone in the midfield. I think that's still a position there too. But then, I mean, a couple other names in the midfield too: Petar Sucic and Martin Baturina. And I'm sorry if I butchered everything. Who both actually play for Dinamo Zagreb. Sucic in his six, he was unfortunately injured and out in this last match. I think he just had
Yeah.
surgery actually. And then Baturina, more of a 10, an attacking mid. He was actually playing at the number 9 or like a false 9 in this match. So not really seeing him. And honestly, when I was watching, he was not on my radar at all to keep an eye on him. But same conversation for Sucic in a possible 6. Like I think that's also a position where we definitely need someone else coming in, especially if we're looking to move Chan onto.
Well, that's probably exactly why Dortmund is looking at someone like Such, is because he just had surgery, right? They're like, oh, that's perfect. He can't play for another 8 to 12 months. Let's sign him up.
Already injured? Come on over here.
Exactly. Yeah. No, we don't want anyone that's fit. Are you kidding me? It's probably why we turned on Alvarez now at West Ham. They're like, no, he plays too often.
Yeah, I mean, those two, again, haven't seen Sucic. Baturina, wasn't watching him at all, and I think he was playing out of position. I'm just more like, cool. Young guys who are getting solid minutes. If you want to bring them in, I'm fine. Bring anyone in. Bring all the guys in. We just need more bodies. That's where I am at this point. Joe Bellingham, if it's a summer thing, again, bring him in. Nkunku. If Malen's out, then yeah, if he can kind of slot in and play that position, then I'm game for it too. Because I just have no faith that we're going to bring any people in. So I'm happy that there's some more serious